It is 1:22 a.m. and my dog just woke me up to take him to the toilet, and I thought I'd do this perfectly video because when I wake up, this is my hair naturally, and this is how my hair has been naturally for my entire life since I grew up from being a toddler. This, as you can see, is wavy hair naturally. The same thing happens to my dad, Mark Fleming's hair, and well, the Fleming side. If you ever have a look at Auntie Sandra. So Dad's older sister, Sandra Fleming, who married a Johnson, so she became a Johnson. Spider, shit. Oh, God, there's a spider there on the desk. And is it dead? Oh, God. Okay. I don't know why companies don't spray buildings more often. Okay, back to it. Have a look at. Let's start back to my grandfather. So have a look at Stanley Fleming. Now, yes, Stanley Fleming was an orphan. Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, his grandfather was adopted." I never said my grandfather was adopted. What I said was he was an orphan and he was raised by Edith Kavanagh. I don't think Edith Kavanagh ever adopted him. She just raised orphan boys. And if you want, so this has been brought up so much in the last 9 years, but it's like, yeah, because what I said was the truth. You just don't want to accept the truth. And I've had so much harassment in my life for 9 years to the point that it's like, well, I can't do anything with my life. Australia doesn't have a decent legal system to have helped me, like when I asked for help. So I asked for help and I didn't get any help that I asked for. And that was correct the lies, verify the information, there's the documents, and stop adding bullshit into my life based from someone else's bullshit lies. Like my ex-partner, Giovanni Consalvo's crap that he spread around since I met him that wasn't true. How about doing that? No. So there is no... A great example is a disability organisation actually harassed me for years, got away with it, and there's nothing that I can do about it. There is nothing that I can do for the last 9 years because, well, no one wants to help with a solicitor, a human rights solicitor, like get things resolved. I was lied about in 2015, then again in 2016, then again in 2017. And idiots who don't know me but presume to know me or know of me made comments as well. It's like, okay, but I didn't make these comments. So then why am I paying for what someone else has said? So let's go back to, like I said, both Dad's parents have curly hair. So there's a confusion where it was, look, I don't know what has been said, but there was stuff where people thought my mum's second husband and his, like I was related to that side. And there was a lot of stuff brought up. And my mum's nuts because, well, she's nuts. Must be cannabis smoking and alcohol. I don't know if she does it or not. I'm just saying that's what her second husband used to do. So, but she has no idea of her first husband's family, which is my father. So if you want to go back to Stanley Fleming, like I said, yeah, Stanley Fleming was an orphan. What was said, and this even my dad's brother-in-law, Uncle Tony Pitcham, said this, and Tony Pitcham's the one that's got Italian cousins, so Vince, his cousin. Uncle Tony said, yeah, look, we don't know. Like, I mean, you know, unless we can track down the records that the Kavanaghs would have had on him when they took in orphan boys and so forth, we don't know where he came from. The government records say no, like there's no place of birth for my grandfather. So they don't know where he was from. And that's on Australian government records. No place of birth. But he did have that ethnic look. I'll show you photos. They're all up on social media. So Stanley Fleming had very ethnic look, dark skin, thick black, untamable hair to the day he died, full monobrow. And that's where I get it from. So this has been brought up because apparently I'm trying to look a certain way or there's personality disorder because he says he's this or that. It's like, no, what I said was exactly this. My dad's side, like my grandfather, Stanley Fleming, was an orphan. Okay, simple. I never said he was adopted. I said he was an orphan. He was an orphan raised by Edith Kavanagh. That's what I said. I said what my cousins say and they go, oh, it could have been Italian. Like, look at him, he looks Italian. So what people have said when they looked at my grandfather, he's like, oh God, he looks Italian. It's like, yeah. So I never said, but that's what was brought up. It's like, yeah, well, we know our last name's Fleming. So, you know, that's not Italian, that's Eastern European, but still. That's the name he had. But yeah, he does. But he also, like Uncle Tony said, and it wasn't just Uncle Tony who said this, it was also Meredith. So Sharon Williams' daughter, so Sharon Fleming, who married Williams, Dad's sister, her daughter Meredith said the same thing. Oh yeah, look at Pop, like he's ethnic looking, but we don't know. It could have been Italian, could have been Greek, could have been Maltese. I mean, we would say could have been Greek. Look at Arnie Sandra, who looks so Greek, and she does. Could have been Maltese, could have been Lebanese. Like, and I look at him and go, yeah, well, he does look very Arabic as well. So that's the comments that was said. That's exactly what was said. And then it was twisted around that, oh, Justin said his grandfather was Italian. I said, no, what I said was my grandfather was an orphan. That's what I said. My grandfather was an orphan. What was then said was, when you look at Justin's grandfather, he looks Italian. That's what was said. So I never said anything. And this has gone on for years. And this has gone on for immigration. It's like, but what I said was the truth. My grandfather is an orphan. You looked at photos of him and goes, yeah, he does look Italian. Yes, that's what we've said. Yeah, but we don't know. So what I said, yes, was the truth. And then there was information that New South Wales Police ended up having, I don't know where they got that from, where they said I was adopted. And I turned around and said, I'm not adopted. Who said I was adopted? I'm not adopted. My dad's Mark Fleming. My dad's Mark Fleming. My stepfather's Mark Rackley. My mother's Carol Purdy. I'm not adopted. My grandparents are Stanley Fleming, Ruby Fleming, which was Ruby Hill, Lola Purdy, which was Lola Keegan, and Reg Purdy. My great-grandmother's, Marianne Sayer, well, her maiden name Sayer, and she married a Keegan. Then you've got Arthur Keegan. So I'm like, I can tell you all my family history. I know where my family history is. Pop's mother is Lillian Steele, and his father is Keith Purdy, and Dad's mother's father is Frank Edward Hill, and Ada Gray is my grandmother's mother. The only one I don't know the great grandparents of is Pop Stanley. So I've never said anything about being adopted. I said my grandfather was an orphan. If you take that information, you twist it, that's up to you. That's your problem, but I've never said anything other than that. And then there's photos like when you look at Auntie Sandra, it's like, yeah, like we said, yeah, Auntie Sandra does look, Dad's older sister, yeah, she looks Greek. She's got the Greek look, but we don't know. Because again, we all throw back to Stanley Fleming, those ones. The same as when I said, okay, I do have cousins that are Lebanese. I do have cousins that are Lebanese. What's the difference? There was photos on social media where people have looked at, so people like even Sam Delati was like, oh, how is Madeline Woods? How is that your cousin? Because she looks Lebanese. It's like, yeah, she throws our grandfather, Stanley. My grandfather, her great-grandfather. That's my cousin's daughter. And they're like, oh, that's not your cousin. I'm like, that is my cousin. Then the same thing, Sky Sheridan Fleming, my younger sister, who looks like a Fleming, like she's Dad's youngest. Oh, that's not your sister. Yes, that is my sister. This is what's gone on for 9 years. It's like, wow. And where I'm angry with the Fleming side is, well, you were told this was going on. You said I was making up. I'm like, I'm not making this shit up. I'm getting harassed by people who obviously only know my mother's side and my mother's second husband's family. This is what's gone on. And then you've got people saying, oh, well, he tries to look like this. I'm like, here is my hair naturally. Like, for fuck's sakes. That is my hair. My grandparents used to say, oh, you're going to put a comb for it? It looks like a bird's nest. So my Reg and Lola always used to say to me, growing up, so even when I used to have it cut short on top and long at the back, that's how the back always looked. My hair is naturally curly like this. Well, not curly, this isn't curls, it's wavy. Frizzy and wavy. That's my natural hair. I would get up, brush it down, like I said. If my mother makes up any more stories, I hope someone shuts her mouth permanently, because I'm like, oh, why am I paying that damage? It was, oh, he tries to look like this person. I'm like, I don't try to look like anything. The only thing that I'm going to say now is I am not the colour that I used to be. My health is so bad. My immune must be so bad, and I'm getting sick all the time. And I can honestly say that's from the last 9 years, because you can see photos of me in my passport. My passport was taken back in 2011, and how dark I was. Fair enough, that photo was taken in summer. So in December in Australia, and I used to go out in the sun a lot. But I do have natural pigmentation in my skin where my skin would go dark easily. Always has. So I could just spend a day in the sun and come back dark. And that's how it used to always be. So we used to go dark really quick. So fair enough. Okay, yep, that photo was taken. But my grandfather, Stanley Fleming, has naturally dark skin. It's on record in Australia, even on government documents where they have his description down and they have my grandfather as having dark skin. So my pigmentation, I have to pick up, from parts of family members, which is that if you knew who my grandfather was, so that's what I kept saying to people. My grandfather is Stanley Fleming, not Don Rackley. Don Rackley is my stepbrother's grandfather. And here's the problem. For 9 years, police even have this wrong. Police don't accept the fact that they're wrong in Australia. Because it's not like in America where you can say, oh, they've made a mistake, you can go to court. You try to go to court in Australia, it's impossible. Which is what I tried to explain to the American government when I'm like, there's wrong information from Australia and you don't know the difficulty that you have in Australia compared to America. Because in America, if this was going on, you would be in court with it. So when you try to explain it to Americans, they don't get it. They're like, well, how come you didn't go to court? Like, why didn't you take it legally? It's like two different countries. We don't have a decent legal system in Australia like you do in America. If this happened where, like I've got on my record, police changed my name or added into my name in 2008 that I was also known as Rackley when I'm not. That's my mother's second husband's family. So an officer who must have known my mother and her second husband's family and where they live did that. Now, in America, that would be straight in court. In Australia, that's not. And that's where the US government or US doesn't understand that this can happen in Australia. There's nothing you can do about it. And they don't understand. It's like, well, why can't you? Like, you've got solicitors. It's like, it's not the same. Like, I know how easy the legal system is in America. It's like, yeah, that person lied. Get in touch with a magistrate. You sign an agreement that, for the expenses and so forth, if that person's found guilty, they have to pay your court costs. So there, it's so simple. It's a very good system. Australia isn't. Australia's terrible. It's a barbaric way of living your life where you don't have any protection. You are protected in America compared to Australia. And Australians sit back and like, oh, that's bullshit. We're so lucky. No, you're not lucky. You're lucky if nothing ever happens to you in life. You're lucky if you don't go through what I've gone through. You're lucky. Okay, but if you ever need the system or the legal system, you're screwed. There is nothing you can do. Okay, you don't even have investigators in Australia, like legal investigators, to say, okay, this happened. So, okay, I'm telling the truth and I can give you X amount of information. If you need more information to go to court with, so you can actually really win this case, you'll have law firms that have their own investigators here to get that information, to get phone records, to do this, because they're going to work on your case and win, and they're going to cover their loss from the other party because that party damaged your life. Whether it's government departments, whether you got to sue the councils, you can sue police force and you can sue the council, like you can sue the government. You can sue areas in America. They say, for example, what happened to me, you changed my name. My name's Justin Mark Fleming. The only time I've ever added into my name is when I put my artist name, because I did just use an artist name, which is not here or there. And as a Roman Catholic, this is where this got confused. I don't know how it was confused. My last name was still Fleming. I was like, oh, well, back years ago, so Roman Catholics, you make your confirmation and you use a lot of old languages, old spellings and so forth. It's very different religion to our Christian religions because it's Roman Catholic based on the Old Testament, New Testament. So it's a lot of, for example, old names, like names that aren't, okay, great example, Justin. Justin isn't a name that was around back 2,000 years ago. Justinian was. That's the example. So Justin is derived from Justinian, Justinian. And you learn that when if you're born and raised in Roman Catholic schooling, you would learn, well, I learned that because when I was making my confirmation, we had to look up saints' names, and Justinian was an Orthodox Christian saint, not a Roman Catholic, so I couldn't use it. And then my teacher, like when I was doing this, said, you don't want Justin, because your confirmation name is going to be added to your name. So I chose Peter. So I researched Peter, Payan, and all the other spellings of Peter that was back in biblical times. And that's what people don't understand. The names today were not the way they were in biblical times. And if you're going through, your studies in Roman Catholic, you're going to know what names are in biblical times. You know, whether Marcus or for Mark and so forth. Names were different for history. We modernize the way we talk. So the way we speak now was not how things were spoken 2,000 years ago, and you're going through your studies of what they are 2,000 years ago. So this is, and it sounds nuts to people that are not raised in the same way, or even my sister who doesn't seem to listen. But I was actually really good at my religion education back then. Let that go. But so anyway, so when I was going through my studies, I was like, I always had like an art and design name. It's like, oh, Justinian Payne, which is Peter, Justin Payne Marcus. So Justinian Payne Marcus, which is actually Justin Peter Mark, which my name is Justin Mark, but you add my confirmation name in there and it's Justin Peter Mark. So that's all that was. Justinian Payne Marcus was my artist name. So that way I used to sign it differently because I had my, creative name, and all I have ever done is added my artist name in with my documents, so that way I can always use that as legally. Something so simple was twisted around to be something so sinister. It's like, but it's not sinister. It's just something so simple. You're making it sinister. So you're making this a big deal when it's not a big deal. And you're harassing my life. My last name's still Fleming. And then I had people go, oh no, he changed his name to Fleming. It's like, no, my last name is Fleming. And I had literally had people from where my mother lives, like the dickheads, to do where she lives, go, oh no, it was Rackley. It's like, no, you were told this when my mother moved here. That's her second husband's name. So this is what went on. So anyway, let's go back to that. So what I was saying before about my hair, so I went off again. Have a look at it. So I only needed all my dad's, so I'd have thick hair. I don't have thick hair, I've got thin hair, but that's how it is naturally. Oh, there you go. I have to brush it down and put a lot of oil in it. I use leave-in conditioners, I put oil, and all that weighs it down and makes it go straight. But when it's dry and I wake up, that's what my hair is naturally. So naturally, this is my hair. That's how my hair is naturally. My mother's made up stories. It's like, yeah, you make up stories all you want, Carol. My hair naturally is the way it is naturally. I can't change it, except for brush it down straight like I've done my entire life. So, yeah. And it looks darker. Other times it looks lighter. Depends what products are in it. My hair is actually dark. Look at the light overhead. So it's making it look light. But if you actually have a look, my roots are normally black. Like there. So my hair is, and I was never blonde once I grew up from a toddler. So I was only a blonde toddler, a blonde baby. I can show all this. So it's been pretty sinister and sick with what people have actually made up in the last few years. And it was something that a solicitor could have easily jumped onto if they wanted to listen to me and not take the wrong information on board. And they took the wrong information on board. It was like, great. So I can't get this correct. It's been 9 years. It's damaged my life. Nothing I can do about it. And that's because of Australia. So, and it's true. Anywhere else, I'm just going to jump in here. Only reason why I have, and what does it matter what my hair is naturally? It is not naturally blonde. It's naturally dark brown near black. That's the natural colour of my hair. As a baby, all right, you know what? Let me just, argument's sake, see if I've got any baby photos here. Quickly. As a baby, yeah, it was blonde, but I thought I might have something really quick to open up. But that's when I was a baby, and I showed in other forms here. There actually, you can see my hair's never changed. That's terrible. That's a man at a wedding when I used to have it long there. That's taken in 2006. So you can see, like if I pull my hair back, they're like that, which I stopped pulling my hair back so tight when I had it out, just to tie it up like that and have it lean. And it looks a bit, yeah. So it does look different in photos. So that's it, like naturally, as you can see, if I pull my hair back, which I've done in many photos throughout my life, and you look at that, it's the same thing. So it actually makes me look like I've got a widow's peak almost, because I used to tie it back so tight. That's just because I had it tied back always, and it looks better like this. But I don't know. It was just weird. It's like, oh, in this photo, it's like, and here I am with John Cabino. Like, it doesn't make sense. But that's one thing. It's like, well, why are you bringing up my hair? And all this seemed to have come about after I got a green card to the US. It's like, all right, so what's been said and what's been misinterpreted? Like, what was said? Let me correct this. What much of a nightmare do I have to go through as a green card holder since I got the green card in both countries? Like, Australia had wrong information, America got their information from Australia, and I'm sitting back going, so no one can help me have this fixed. Because all I need is a solicitor to say, okay, right, you're spreading false information and it's hurting Justin's life. So here's the facts. I can show you photos, I can show you videos, we've got document proof, everything is here, his studies and so forth. His sickness that he had straight after he got the green card, that's misfortunate, but you can't, and then you drag your mental health into it. It's like, it's not mental health. Having pneumonia and trying to rest from pneumonia and having that twisted around back in May 2016. There we go. Pneumonia. I had pneumonia twisted into mental health. So I'm trying to rest and recover from pneumonia. I had people make up stories. Oh, he's not leaving his apartment. He's depressed and suicidal. I'm like, no, I've got pneumonia. So do you see how the mental health can just jump onto things? So this is what was going on. This is back in 2016. I'm like, I have pneumonia. Leave me alone. I'm trying to rest. I'm so sick right now. And I'll probably be sick with bad immune issues like I am now for the rest of my life, because there's 2016. Okay, 8 years ago. I haven't recovered. I would never recover from illness now. And you find a solicitor that's going to press charges against the people. Oh, there's an organisation that kept harassing me. Why aren't they up on charges? Oh, you need to prove that they're doing it. We need times, we need dates. It's like, that they've come into my area. You know this. We're not fools. Police are fucking deadbeats that think we're fools. You know that I was monitored. I've got a document that even says from a crisis group and acute care and other organisations that they were coming into my area. So they've done this in the past. So in a decent world where there's human rights and a human rights solicitor, they should be looking at that going, let's get the documents for him, let's prove this and move forward, because we know this is what's going on. But unfortunately, he has to prove it. It's like, what's he going to do? Walk up to these persons all the time and go, right, and they're just going to come back like what Mind Dog did. Like that lady, Gail O'Grady, she's like, I'm from Palm Springs. It's like, you're kidding me. So these games that were played in my life, I'm putting up with it for 9 years. And the only thing I ever asked from my mother was, okay, I'm getting lied about. And even when her sister had a nose out of joint, Miriam Mahowski, a fucking bitch. No, I hate her guts. Seriously, we only put up with her because of nothing. Absolutely hate her guts. Like, we've had to put up the entire life. It's like, oh God. And Nam used to do this. She used to always be like that to me, on my leg, like this. Like, we'll be there at Marianne's and she'd be like, shh, don't say anything. Don't upset Mary. Don't upset her. And it's like, don't upset the fucking baby. It's like, seriously, this is what our entire life. It was like, oh, fucking Marianne. It's like, oh, yeah, you'll be there at her place. It's like, when is this going to be fucking finished? Seriously, we're only doing this for Nan. Like, showing up at events, only doing it for Nan. Like, I fucking hate her guts and her fucking husband. Seriously. And that's what it was always like. And she had a nose out of joint. It's like, hang on, you rang me which she did, in 2016, going off because I wouldn't go to her husband's 50th. It was like, and I'm not traveling to your husband's 50th. And all this bullshit. And then she's like, where'd your money come from? Because she was doing the conveyancing from a place I was buying for an investment. And this is what started. It's like, where does my money come from? Like, my large savings account, because why? What are you going to make up about that? Where does yours come from? Like, that's what it was. It's like, my money come from the sale of my investment property and the fact that I had fixed term deposits my entire life. I was working most of my life when I was working at Star Casino. So when I was working at Star Casino, I guess I was on almost 50,000 a year in my 20s. And I did side jobs. And I should be having a lot more money than this. She's one of the first ones that started this. And it's like, oh, here we go again. The baby. Oh, Marianne with her fucking bullshit. Troublemaking. And so it's like, when my nan was dying, I was like, oh, I'm not going to see her. Seriously, why should I go and see her and think, oh, thank you for destroying my life because of your daughter? Because this was my entire life having a nightmare to live and be around your family to keep you happy, and you never said a word to your daughter. And here's the last 9 years of my life. It's like, great. More of my life getting destroyed. And then I'm getting blamed for when it's destroyed because it's like, oh, you did it. It's like, how did I do it? I never said anything that wasn't untrue. I get lied about. I can't help it. I told, like, someone said, oh, he was depressed and suicidal. I'll turn around and say, no, I wasn't. But they're going to go with the other person. It's like, but I told you myself that I wasn't. I had organisations sit in the car park and harass me where I lived, monitoring and surveillance because of wrong information. This went on for years. I had some fuckwit hairdresser that I can't wait to face her in court still. Some fucking dickhead, Belinda Jeffries. And yeah, man, I'm just going to play her and see if I can get something recorded because, yeah, biggest fucking drug-using dickhead I've ever met in my entire life. She was only my hairdresser. Nothing more. Got paid for a service, but thought she was entitled to involve herself into my life. And it's like, yeah, I was spectating and laughing at you people. Not laughing with you, laughing at you. Like you and your idiots. Like drug-using idiots. Yeah, it was entertainment to me, but you're an idiot. I would never affiliate with these types of people ever in my entire life. But yeah, so I'm just like, fucking dickhead. Like, you got paid for your service. You think you're a friend of someone. It's like, man, you're not my friend. I would never be friends with you because you were my hairdresser. You were paid for a service. But you dragged yourself into my life. Good. Now we can argue this out because I'm not going to put up with the last 9 years. My mother had a chance to redeem all the shit that she did in the past. Good, that meant you don't need to speak for me. I can speak for myself. But here's 9 years of damage being done to my life. So I need that resolved. I said this back in 2015. I said, look, before this goes out of control, I need this resolved. So I need a solicitor to help me correct that. And where there was information that was like a situation was misinterpreted or some fucking deadbeat had their nose at a joint because they got told off. Your behaviour towards me instigated you being told off. And that's the thing. But my mother didn't do anything. My sister didn't do anything. My family didn't do anything. So it's like, all right, fine. You are the trouble. You were told by me that from 2015, this is what happened. You sat back and you didn't do anything. Oh, and then you had your nose at a joint because what was it? The bullshit when I left Giovanni. It's like, look, man, you guys don't know anything about a relationship, so fuck off. On my dad's side. So, and then all the stories that they apparently all know me so well, yet not one of them can describe what my hair is naturally. It's like, good, when I wake up, there's my hair naturally. I go in the bathroom, pat it down with conditioner, oil, like creams, tie it back, brush it back, hairspray it down, and it looks straight. Or like I used to when I was younger, tie it back and so forth. Like someone was even trying to make out that even my hairline's like, my hairline's the same. The only other time my hair would ever look shit, eczema creams. There we go. And now it looks short. Like, how fucking dumb. Oh, eczema creams. Because I used to get sores right through my scalp here. Bad sores right through my scalp. Absolutely. Like where it was bloody and hair would fall out. So I used to get round circles of patches. And I used to get round circles of patches in here. So it was like a round circle of patch there, and so forth. Like, I don't get them anymore. I don't have any scars through there either. So you can see even my scalp. No, I'll see if there's any. So right through my scalp, which I used to use eczema cream or a tar cream, which used to bleach my hair. So I used to use this thick tar cream and have to rub it through my hair so it would get into my scalp, and they used to bleach my hair like you wouldn't believe. And it was to get rid of had all these sort of sores in my scalp. And that we used to call these sort of round circles of hair patches missing. It's like, yeah, that's caused from a condition. And what's it to you? Like making up these weird stories that it was caused from what? It's caused from a condition, from a health condition. So why are you, focusing on shit like this? But this has gone on for years. I mean, mental health fucking shit. making up stories, lying about me. Man, I've had it. And again, let's talk back around to that hairdresser. She's my hairdresser, right? Met her in late 2013. And, I would say shows of people that, get paid for service, whatever. Like, oh, it's your hairdresser, sure, catch up. But the friendship is nothing further than that's a hairdresser, client, hairdresser. And she involved shit into my life. It's like, but you're my hairdresser. I'm going to you for a service. I pay you for a service. Now I'm going to stop going to you because this is insane. Like, so that means the person I buy my groceries from going to do the same? Drag shit into my life? Is somebody else going to? That's actually what went on. Look, I hope I can catch her out on Monday. I'll make sure I record everything and try and catch her out. But no, fucking deadbeat. Seriously. Nothing to do with my life. We're not friends. It's client, hairdresser. I wouldn't have people like that in my life. So yeah. And I don't put up with this shit. I mean, God, some of the stories in the last 9 years, and I'm there going back and forth to solicitors going, you can't do anything to stop this. It's destroying my life. It's called reckless endangerment. It's damaging my life, and you can't do anything to stop this. Great. Well, I won't have a life to leave, thanks very much, because you can't do one decent thing as a solicitor and basically say, okay, we're going to verify the information for Justin. We're going to do this. He needs to be able to have a life to live. It's destroying his life. Could have happened back in 2016, so it didn't cause any further damage. Should have happened in 2017 to prevent anything from moving forward. Definitely by 2018, that's exactly what should have happened. Now it's too late. Now I'll just get revenge on everybody else. It's too late to fix anything. I can't have a life or a future. You've made sure of that in the last 9 years. So if it's supposed to have looked at the documents or listened to me when I said, look, this is not true what's been said. Yes, like even when it comes to being mugged, I was mugged and robbed after work, but this is what I was doing during that time of recovery. And I went for recovery and I was ready to return to work at this time. And then this happened to stop me returning to work. Now I can't return to work now because of what happened, not because of what previously happened, but because of what you've just done in the last 9 years. Because you ran with information that wasn't true. And I said that. Because the information that you had was not true and you harassed my life over it for 9 years in 2 countries. That's what you did. Simple. I mean, I'm not going to be responsible because someone calls organizations and makes up stories about me that isn't true. What should be happening if this was America, well, then that would be going to court and would have gone to court as soon as that person made those false statements. Exactly. And then what's happened to me is I've then turned around and said, actually, let me tell you the truth about this person. And then I've been like, oh, he makes up stories about everybody, which is what mental health is doing to me. It's like, no, I'm not making up stories. Everything I've said is the truth, and it doesn't take much for it doesn't take much for a rookie detective to look at the documents and say, well, yeah, that is true. We can put a surveillance on this, but this is Australia, we're barbaric. We don't have that type of funded money. But yeah, I've brought up stuff to do with people. It's like, and then turn around and people are like, oh, he's making up stories about everybody. No, I'm not. Go get an investigator to have a look. Because you know what I've said is the truth. There's the phone numbers I gave you. You can do an investigation. You can see that this is true. You can see at this period of time. Yeah, you know what I've said was the truth. So then you tell that organisation to stop lying about me and saying I'm making up stories about people when I'm not. This all even started with the police force because of some bullshit Facebook post in 2017. It's like, oh, really? Mark Kenner told me that because I was trying to find out information where he was getting stuff from, and he told me it was this person, this person, this person. I was like, all right. One of them happens to be a copper at Surrey Hills Police Station. So all I was doing was using the guy for information. So that was it. Oh, Mark Kenner's a fucking loser. I would never affiliate with somebody like that.